Hello there, I am Lamin Jai. So today my guest is Dr. Sidat Jobe, former foreign minister, former Gambian ambassador, top Gambian diplomat, also a member of the United Democratic Party. He is my guest today. We'll be discussing a few issues. One of them will be claims that were made by President Adama Barrow that he went to the Senegalese ambassador to attack him. This is a top respected diplomat, career diplomat at that. So he is my guest today, and I will speak to him on a number of issues. Doctor, thank you again for being on my show.
Thank you, Mr. Lamjai. It's always a pleasure to welcome you here, and I'm glad that you wanted clarification on this issue of our visit of members of the Foreign Service Group of the UDP to the Senegalese ambassador. In fact, what happened was, as we are monitoring various things that are happening in the international world, in order to be able to brief Secretary General Hussein Odabo of what is going on, to prepare him and update him on matters which he may have to deal with after the elections if he's the winner. We saw at a certain moment that there was a lot of rumors about people being recruited from Senegal, from the Casamance, Guinea-Bissau, and so on, to participate in the Gambian elections. And we thought that this is creating an atmosphere of acrimony, misunderstanding, and it is a bit disquieting for such a thing to continue. And as the major country surrounding the Gambia, we thought of having a visit of all the embassies in the sub-region, in addition to the British, the EU, and also the French, separately as embassies, in order to know what their position is vis-a-vis the forthcoming elections, and also to brief them on the atmosphere that is here and all that we will be doing, so that this goes through a very smooth, tranquil period as an event in the next. So we thought of getting a committee to visit the Senegalese ambassador to draw his attention to these rumors. It was decided that Madam Yam Sek, who is the deputy head of the party, to lead the delegation. In that delegation, there was Tombong Sedi, who is in fact the executive secretary, member of the executive secretary in charge of foreign affairs, Ramzi Diab, and myself. We were four, but under the leadership of Madam Yam Sek. And when we arrived, we just simply chatted with him, thanked the ambassador for the very positive role that Senegal played in 2016 after the elections with Yaya Jammeh, and how since then they've been closely working with the Gambia, and that it is in that spirit, and in the spirit that the opposition also has recognized that we were authorized by the head of the party to come and see him and to discuss various issues and to hear from him too what he has been recording and seeing. And it was then that we told him, we've heard of this, and it would be better if he could, whatever he could do to avoid that Senegalese participate in the elections, in the forthcoming elections. Not only will that strengthen the sovereignty of the Gambia, but it will avoid a certain amount of confusion. And to be frank with you, Lamin Jai, it coincided with a moment when the ambassador himself, having heard of all these rumors of people going to participate, Senegalese, in the Gambian elections, he had already planned to make a tour of the Gambia in order to sensitize Senegalese to keep away from the Gambian electoral process, that it's a sovereign state and it's only Gambian nationals who should vote, and that he was going to make a tour of the country to inform the Senegalese citizens who are within the Republic, which he did 1 week after our visit. Now, the unfortunate thing is, the information mechanism that the president has, unfortunately, and with a lot of modesty, is not very solid. Because we visited the Senegalese ambassador 6 weeks ago. He made a tour of the country, and at each stop he was telling the Senegalese not to get involved in the Gambian election. How come that the Senegalese ambassador was making his tour, and it was a public thing, it's even televised and it's in the YouTube, that the Gambian government didn't know about it, or Barrow did not notice it, and he really toured the whole country, telling Senegalese to refrain from getting involved in the Gambian elections. Now, 6 weeks after, when they informed the president, and the people who informed him, or the person who informed him, viciously wanted to create or deepen the rift between the president and I. As you would remember, I recommended to the president that if he was unable to honor the 3 years, let him at least give a great surprise to Gambians by abstaining from the next elections. And of course, you know, they retaliated, saying that the president, whatever happens, will stand. So therefore, someone must have tried to make him feel really that Sidat Jobe is against you. And so the president, without verifying, he had the possibility of asking his foreign minister to check with Senegal, that we've heard that the UDP delegation came to see what really happened. And he would have briefed them, told them that Aji Yam was the leader of the delegation, that I was there, and 2 other people. But they didn't do. And the president so vehemently said that I led the delegation.
And which is not true.
Which is not true, but I forgive him that, because the president is not very well informed, unfortunately. And there are people around him who are preventing him from seeing reality. So he's made the mistake. I've clarified that in the Standard, and by now he knows that I was in the leader, and it was Aji Yam Sek who was the leader of the delegation. I'm not a member of the executive of UDP. I'm an ordinary member of the executive, but because of my experience in diplomacy, I've been put in a member of this committee, in which you have Tal, you have Ramzier, you have Ibumane, yes, you have what is Kemeseng Jame, and so on. And we are a group that meet every week or every 2 weeks to see the present situation of the world, to prepare our briefing and advise for the Secretary General, so that he knows exactly what is happening.
Now what the president said was a serious claim. I mean, was serious. He said, you went to attack the ambassador.
Yeah, now this
is that what you did?
No, but this is very funny. We never attacked the ambassador. We left very cordially. And in fact, to be very frank with you, I think if we hadn't gone, the ambassador himself was going to make his tour.
All the same.
To make this tour the same. And another thing between you and I, you think that we as an opposition party would write a letter first to the ambassador to see whether he could receive us? He could have informed the government, he could have informed the foreign ministry that UDP was coming to visit it. But it wasn't necessary, because it's the right of the opposition to visit any embassy.
And you are a career diplomat. You have traveled all over the world.
Yeah.
Is that normal at all for an opposition party to visit a foreign ambassador? That is very normal.
When we were in London,
yes.
With old Bio Germany and I'm thinking of 1970, 71, we were invited by the Conservative Party, we were invited by the Labour Party, we went to all their conventions. So that was not wrong. What we went to do, and if we had been aggressive to the ambassador, of course he would have complained. But he never complained. He never complained. And I think they've even put the ambassador in a very embarrassing situation because he cannot intervene now to say that, no, they did not aggress me, they did not attack me, they came, they were very polite with us. That's why I've kept him out. That's why I've never said or corrected or asked him to intervene to correct that I was not the leader of the delegation. At the same time, we did not attack him. We just went to inform him, and he took a responsible decision. Now, what angered the president, and I can understand, and which is not very good for him, if he is angry, is because it must have been his intention or the intention of people around him to register non-Gambians. And now that he sees that the Senegalese have even told their people to keep away, he got very, very angry about that. Because don't you see the way he's saying
the president was in a complete meltdown. Yeah. But one of the things that he tied your visit to the ambassador is the issue of your party, UDP, organizing thugs, wearing black outfits, black, going about, what he said was, you said among them, he said in his statement, he said among them are ambassadors.
You are mixing two things.
Yes.
Mixing two things. Our visit to the ambassador of Senegal was the diplomatic committee.
Yes.
The ambassadors who went to see him to protest about the participation of foreigners and Senegalese in the Gambian election.
Yes.
That's totally different from the second part of his attack.
Yeah.
The second part of his attack is on the monitoring groups of the UDP. That had nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
The monitoring group are the ones he called putting in black, going to the registration.
Profiling people.
And profiling people. That had nothing to do with us. That was the second thing. That he was attacking the party, not the group that went.
Do you have an opinion on that?
No, the opinion that I would have on that is that it was authorized by the IEC, by the Electoral Committee. And it never had, if it was not for the incident that took place in Kanilai and the other place, I don't know, Manduar or whatever, you see,
yes.
there was no problem. We are nearly getting to the end. Why didn't they say that right from the beginning? And this thing has been authorized by the IEC, by the Electoral Committee. So that had nothing to do with us. And I think the vocabulary he used on them as thugs dressed in black. You know, whenever you talk about black, you remember, of course, black.
The junglers.
That is it. So we didn't have anything to do with that. I think the president, as a gentleman, should directly or indirectly apologize to the committee that went to see the ambassador. Because we did nothing wrong. We did not push the ambassador to go and make his tour. He did the tour with the authorization of the Senegalese authorities. And what he did was to tell the Senegalese to abstain from participating in the Gambian election. Why should that make the president angry if he wasn't intending to register Senegalese or foreigners into this thing?
But at the level of your committee, by extension the UDP, did you try to verify the veracity of those rumors, those reports that were flying, that were out there to suggest that you have people, foreigners, who were trying to meddle or interfere in our elections? Did you try to verify?
Lamin Jai, I think you should dissociate the people who are monitoring elections And we who, on the basis of what we've heard from Dusano
Yes.
and from this Ahmad Ba, and all of you heard these rumors about people intending to register foreigners. And there was a time when Dusano even said he was going to bring all the wives of Senegalese who married Gambian women, because those are Gambians, they will bring them back to register them. And you heard about the problems of registration on the frontier. That is the committee that is in charge of supervision and registration. We didn't need to know about that. The rumors we had, we went to see the ambassador to thank him for the very peaceful cooperation between Senegal and the Gambia. We drew his attention to the danger of having Senegalese registering for Gambian elections, and he told us that he has heard of it. And it is so important to him that he has decided to tour the country in order to draw the attention of Senegalese not to get involved in registering to participate in Gambian elections. That's all. Let's dissociate things.
Do you feel disappointed by the president?
No, I'm disappointed by the president for the simple reason that he wasn't well informed, and that I should blame his Minister of Foreign Affairs or others who are around him who are just giving false information. There is a deliberate desire to make the president feel that I'm totally against him and that I'm working against him. But going up to the extent of saying that we went to aggress or attack an ambassador, if I were in his position, even before we went, he, as the President of the Republic, and with this type of rumors, to make the country tranquilized, he was the one who should have asked his Minister of Foreign Affairs to contact the Senegalese ambassador and the ambassadors of the countries that are surrounding us to request that they help us in avoiding that their nationals get involved in our election. He would have been a greater president, and people will know that he's very fair.
Yes.
He is going to count on only Gambian voters to elect him, and he wasn't planning in any way to get extra votes by getting Senegalese or Guineans or whoever it may be to register.
I understand the foreign minister of Senegal will be flying into the country today, the ambassador's boss, of course. Would you want to meet him too, in terms of expressing or laying before him some of these concerns that you have?
Not really. You are giving me the news, and to be very frank with you, we have nothing to do with that visit. I do not know how Barrow has explained this to Dakar. I do not know why at this juncture the Senegalese Minister of Foreign Affairs is coming. We will have to wait to know what he's doing. But if it is to make Senegal know that we did not attack the ambassador himself knows. And I think the ambassador will tell his minister, that in fact they came to see us, but he cannot say that now. If the ambassador says a thing like that, it's as if though he is contradicting Barrow. And he's a diplomat enough not to do that. And I think we are also matured enough not to implicate him. We went to visit him. Mm-hmm. We are very happy with the fact that we drew his attention. Yes. We are very happy that he took action against that. But we felt that it was the duty of the government to do that. But if not, we have nothing to do. They are the executive, and it will be really going out of bounds for us to try to meet the minister. What are we going to tell the minister?
So 4 or 5 days, that's how much is left in the voter registration.
Yeah.
The IEC has registered close to 900,000 Gambians.
What
is your take on the whole exercise?
I must say that I am very glad that the registration has gone so far. Nearly 1 million voters out of 2 million inhabitants. I am also very pleased that despite all this acrimony, except for 2 incidents, Njambur and I think in Kanilai, in Kanilai,
and Mandwar too. And Mandwar too.
And Mandwar, 3 incidents. Of course, every incident is a terrible thing, but thank God it hasn't gone beyond that. And the registration is done. The UDP cannot say that they were prevented from monitoring. Perhaps the monitoring became very irritating for the government. Perhaps they wanted to register more people and they couldn't. But anyway, they've taken it in good faith. And now we have got those who are going to vote. And I think all the parties will be comfortable enough to accept the fact that the thing has been done with transparency. Yes. And because I don't think that the NPP has complained that they haven't registered enough, nor the UDP. So it is a positive thing. And you know, Laminja, I'm telling you one thing. I have been into war zones. I have seen countries whose backbones are broken. And I say, we are very lucky in the Gambia. People say it's because Gambia is blessed. But I think it's more than that. There is a will to avoid going into extremes. And it is for this reason that I would like the president, when he receives information, to verify the substance of what they've told him, to counter-check and know that all what he is going to do or to say is within the framework of the truth, which will give him much more authority. At least I've heard one commentator say that his comments were divisive and that should not come from a president. Yeah, but still... Do you agree to that? I think it was divisive. I think he was disappointed that we went to see the ambassador. But I still forgive him for that because it's the way he has been informed. My friend, human beings are very powerful. Barrow came as a great gentleman. He was going to keep to his 3 years of promise, but people instigated him. Does that include Dabo? Because Dabo said he shouldn't do 3 years, he will do 5 years. No. Wait. Yes. I'll explain that. I'm not here to defend Dabo on that. Yes. Dabo said at a given period that if people were forcing Barrow to step down 3 years, the Constitution allows him to stay for 5 years. But I think by then Dabo knew that in fact Barrow has now been pushed into accepting the post, and perhaps he had ideas of staying on. Yes. And I think Dabo, logically enough, had it in mind that he could stay for 5 years, and everybody thought if he, because the Constitution gave it to him, it's not because they were doing him a favor. Yes. And this is why nobody claimed against it. It's only the civil society, the 3 years Jotna that claimed it, but all the political parties accepted it. So therefore, for that 5 years, yes, Dabo did promise. You remember towards the other period when the 3 years Jotna, yes, Dabo said that it was his opinion, and now the opinion of the majority is something else. All that is in the past. Exactly. What is important now is that President Barrow is the head of state. We are going to elections on the 4th of December, and what I will wish for him, so that he will go into history, is to see to it either he desists from the election so that there could be a smooth playing field for all the other political parties. But Doctor, clearly he's not planning to do that. He wants to run. Yeah, I know he wants to run, but I'm just talking of the advantages of If he desists, he would shock everyone. But what is he doing when he does that? He will regain all his credibility and integrity. I was not able to leave after 3 years, but now in the interest of the Gambia's smooth running, I am going to step back. I couldn't approve the Constitution. I'm stepping behind. And let the political parties that are here go to the elections and choose the one that the Gambians have finally selected as their head of state. But the idea is, unfortunately, if Barrow even doesn't stand, Lamin Jai, for 2 million inhabitants, having about 900 registered voters, and then having 20 political parties, I mean, this is not serious. I will definitely recommend, and let it not be looked upon as taking sides for the UDP, but to be on the side of the logic. When you come to consider that in the last National Assembly elections, Dabo had about 31, some had about 5, others 6, others 4, I think it is high time. And it is not any of this business of Mandinka Fasa and so on, which I think is the most dishonest statement made by anyone who does it to call the UDP a Mandinka party. Everyone knows. How can you be a Mandinka with 2 Wolof wives, with the deputy head of your party as a Wolof, having Fullers and everybody in, and people continue calling you a Mandinka tribal party? They know that when they say that, it hurts. And not only it hurts, it then kindles the tribal instincts of other people. But those people will be very short-sighted when they come to consider that his 2 wives and with whom he has children are of another tribe. Lamin.
So in your opinion, this is deliberate on the part of those that are doing it?
I think even those who are doing it know it. It's a vicious technique.
Why do you think then people are using tribe to score points politically? Why do you think that is happening in our country?
Because when you do it, however small it is, you sow the seeds of doubts in people's minds. But you see, where the nice part of it is, Lamin, you are living in the Gambia. Are you a victim of tribalism? Are you a victim of Gambians? Where you have tribalism, go down the coast. I'm not going to quote any country. Go down and see where real tribalism plays. We are very lucky. We are all mixed up. I have Serere blood, I have Fuller blood, I have Mandinka blood, I have Wolof blood.
And me too, I have multiple bloods.
Yeah, so therefore we are all de-tribalized
One
Gambians.
way or the other, we are all related.
We are all de-tribalized Gambians. And they're using it against Hussein Udabo just viciously. But despite the fact that they've been using it since the inception, he still was able to have 31 members of parliament. He nearly took the whole of the country except one for municipalities in the interior. And he is having a majority. And this music of tribalism and so on, nobody listened to them.
But who do you think are doing this?
Oh, you see, in politics, there is no gift. Anything goes if you can, in one way or the other, prevent your friend or your opponent from winning. And there's a very funny quotation that I'll give you, and I think I did tell you the last time. An Indian who was in the Gambia He started these manufacturing local exercise books. You remember in those days, about a few years ago, 10, 15 years ago, all exercise books came from England, or we bought them from Europe.
Yes.
And this Indian called Rial, he died about 2 years ago, but he stayed here for a very long time. It was Basiru Jawara who was working very closely with him. He said, you know, what he has observed in the Gambia is that everyone in the Gambia has a PhD. And that PhD is pull him down.
This is what he said.
Pull him, everyone PhD. If I see that Lamin Jai
is moving,
is going very high, and he's got the quality, and he's going there, and he's respected.
People want to destroy you.
Do everything
to destroy you.
Pull him down, knowing fully well that if I pull him down, I won't be able to replace him. So he says, we are all PhDs. I laughed about it, but it is not very flattering. And this is it.
You find some little bit of truth in it.
Not that a little bit, it's a real truth.
Is a real truth.
All these people saying that, hey, if we go to Dabo, if Dabo takes power, he will be revenging, it will be Mandinko this thing, it will be that. They've never tried.
And that includes President Adama Barrow, and this is supposedly his political son, someone that was with him. He too is saying that. That it is going to be a problem when Dabo takes power.
Against this thing. And you remember even, to show you good politics, you remember when, to their credit, the, what do they call them again, DOI, when they started educating the population, a first political party which started interpreting the Constitution, the rights of the citizen and everything, and development and socialism and so on and so forth, during Jawara's period. Now they felt that these people were fairly communist and so on. But in the propaganda machinery that was in the PPP, when they went upriver, they were telling people that the DOI, if you elect these people, they mean that, you know,
they will even share your wife.
They will share your wife.
They will share your wife.
So everything goes. If that could happen on the Jawara and that type of a publicity was being given,
yes,
don't be surprised that they're doing. Anyway, Dabo is leading. Dabo, with all chances, and I hope a few political parties join him, because you know what I would like to see?
Yes, yes.
All these intellectuals in the different parties support the UDP. If Dabo wins, he doesn't have monopoly to power. He has the political authority. But anyone who can do something solid for the Gambia should feel that he has a right to come forward with a good project. I want to have 3 miles on which I will be growing groundnuts industrially, mechanically, grow tomatoes, grow everything. The Gambians who are specialists in road making, we shouldn't be giving contracts to foreigners, England or France or anybody, or to Senegalese. There are Gambians qualified enough and workers qualified enough from the experience of working with foreign companies who could continue to build the rest of the roads that we want.
Do you think he will win?
Of course he will win.
What do you base that on?
No, I base it upon the fact that already he has, in comparison with all, even the former political parties, where he has 31 MPs and they had only 6 or 4, I mean, I see no logic that he should go. I know when I say this, some people will not be pleased and they will think that I'm taking sides. But it's just being dishonest if they want.
Or a biased opinion of a party supporter, a loyal UDP supporter.
If you say that, that we could be able to give an image of respectability to the outside world. Luckily, the outside, the insults are generally in the local languages. But it doesn't. And I can tell you, every leader, Barrow, Dabo, Khalifa,
Mama Kande,
APRC, they've all preached against it.
So why do you think
it is
still
that
happening?
We've got an indisciplined community. people who want to do what they want to do, and they say it, they insult, they enjoy it. They enjoy it, you know, all of a sudden, people found that they have been able to get a local television. Everybody has a television. If you go to YouTube, you open it and then you insult everyone, and then everyone is trying to get a buzz. They're telling one another, share it, share it, share it, and then you want to build your little community. And once you build your little community, you want to this thing. And they found out, for some reason, that insults seem to generate crowds. People want to hear, but this is a sad thing. But don't blame. Hussein is very much against insulting. And he has said it many times. And let's give credit to Barrow also. He is against insulting. He is against insulting. I'll say that for him.
Well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that. That is quite refreshing.
No, he is also against. I don't think any of the leaders, because it's a non-productive thing. You can never win somebody. I can't insult you up to the point that you come and join me in order to stop the insult. That is nonsense. On the contrary, I will aggravate the situation, because I will definitely know that you have no brain, that I have no brain. You will know.
Doctor, we've run out of our 30 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
What would be your final
my final
comment?
Thing is...
well, let's say additional comment.
Yeah, my additional comment at this point is, Lamin, you people are in a privileged position. You are the liaison between the political world and the general population.
Yes.
And the more you could also instigate by asking the type of questions that you do, for political leaders to be able to talk to their supporters, to see to it that an atmosphere of tranquility and mutual exchange is done. That is the only way that we can save a little country like the Gambia, give credibility to its politics, and make it respected by the outer world. Lamin, we are in a very delicate situation. We don't have a constitution after 5 years. We do not have security reforms. We haven't looked into the public service. We have not looked into the various aspects of our agriculture and how to improve it. 2 million inhabitants, half the population of Dakar. We talk as if though we are more than 100 million. The atmosphere is so bad that it's only with restraint and looking at the wider picture that we want to have a country that is respected. We want to have a country that is respected, and to be respected will enable the outer world to know that we exist, and to be able to do all our reforms, to become a solid state with solid institutions. That's the only way that we can survive. And that quest for survival is the responsibility of every Gambian. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sidat Jobe, okay. My guest today on the show, News Review. Thank you. We will be back tomorrow. Doctor, thank you once again. And it's always a pleasure, really, to interview you. Thank you.
For me
thank
too,
you.
and you're doing well. And, you know, I hope this is not in, it's being recorded.
It's still in, yeah.
You're doing well. Turn a deaf ear to negative things. When you know that you're doing right, continue doing right.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Always, all of us will always have somebody to observe something on us.
Of course.
But once our conscience is clear,
of course,
we will finally be able to be vanquished, and at the same time, we would have given a meaning to our profession.
Doctor, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that advice. So that brings us to the end of the interview. Until next time.